Hello. In today's session, I'm going to demonstrate how In Command is to be used by site operations teams to handle shipping requests. First, let me demonstrate how a customer initiates a shipping request. They log into the portal, they come to the request menu, make requests, and there's two options, shipping incoming and shipping outgoing. First, I'll demonstrate shipping incoming. When a customer is expecting a package to arrive at one of our data centers, they fill out a shipping incoming request. That shipping incoming request is a form that where the customer indicates the expected date of the arrival, what the carrier is, how many boxes, the tracking number. They fill out this request form. Now, I won't do that in this demonstration, but I'll show you what a filled out form looks like. The request list, after a customer submits that form, it'll show up for the site operators as a shipping incoming request. And the site operations team can open up that request, review the date, the number of boxes, etc., and then can take that request and assign it to a operator at the site to handle. In this case, I'll assign it to myself. So now the request has been submitted, reviewed, and assigned. I'll save that. And once the request is received, it not only shows up in the request list, but also shows up under the reports shipping menu on the shipping incoming list. This is where the site operators will receive the shipment and hand it off to the intended recipient. As you'll notice, the demonstration request that I created is now listed here on the incoming list with its expected arrival date, tracking number, and the information the requester gave when they submitted the request. When that shipment arrives, there's a received button here. The site operators will click this button and will indicate the date it was received. I'll select the date received. They'll indicate the number of boxes. They'll validate the tracking number, and they'll indicate where they're storing that shipment. In this case, it's being stored at the security desk. If any other notes about the shipment, they can be put here. Perhaps the boxes were damaged. It can be noted here. A picture can be taken of the box and uploaded, but this is optional. So I have now indicated that I've received this shipment, this tracking number. I could click this box to send the requester the information that has now been received. I'll do that, send email updates, and I'll save. You'll notice now that the handoff icon has gone red because this shipment has been received. It is sitting at the security desk. It is waiting to be handed off to the customer. There's a transaction log here, this hamburger stack, and it says as much. It says one box was received by this person on this date, and it's waiting at the security desk to be handed off. Now, once the customer arrives and the box is handed off to the customer, the site operations team need to indicate that that happened. And they do so by clicking this handoff icon. When that is clicked, we indicate the number of boxes that were handed off, the tracking, who they were handed off to. The customer can now initial that they received it, the handoff date. Again, you can indicate a note. And once again, you can check this box. So when you save it, the original requester will be notified that this shipment has now been handed off to, in this case, John Q. Citizen. I will save the handoff. Having been handed off, the system takes note that there was only one box received and one box handed off. And it's asking the site operations, do you want me to close the request having been completed, and to send email updates that the request is being closed? Once again, I'll say yes. The item drops off from the incoming list. The request has been closed and the customer has been notified. There is another shipping incoming case that I need to cover. What happens when something just shows up the recipient or at the receiving dock, but the customer never told the site that it was coming? We still need to receive it. And in such a case, under the reports shipping incoming list, there's a button here, add new shipping incoming request. In that case, the receiving dock personnel would click this button and they would look at the addressing on the box they shipped that was received, and they'd say, what company was this package shipped to? And it'll list the companies that could be receiving a shipment. In this case, I'll select my own company, In Command. Now we're going to be receiving this shipment on behalf of somebody. Perhaps the shipping label said attention of a person, or we simply know the main contact for this customer. So we're going to click the drop down and select we're receiving it on behalf of this person. Now the receiving operations engineer would also now assign this request to somebody on their operations team. I'm going to again assign it to myself. Who's the name of the carrier? I'll check FedEx. How many boxes did I receive? I say I received one. What was the tracking number? I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to put this in a storage location. I'll call it at the reception desk. That's where I'm going to keep this package that I just received. Again, I can indicate an intended recipient if such was listed on the address level. I'll leave that blank right now. I could give a note, I could select a picture, etc., just like before, and then I will create this request. You'll see now that this new item shows up on the shipping incoming list. It's already been received, so that button is not red. This package is now waiting to be handed off. Once the client is notified that a package has arrived and they send somebody to pick it up, the site operators will click this red icon to hand it off. We've already gone through how to fill out this icon, so I won't, well, I guess I'll do it again. You hand it off to John Doe. John Doe's signature, I just gave my own, no big deal. And I'll send email updates. Once again, there was only one box expected. One box has been handed off. It asks me if I want to close the request. I'll say yes. I'll close it and send emails that it has been closed. And the item drops off the shipping incoming list. Now, let me demonstrate how InCommand handles outgoing shipping requests. Once again, if the customer will submit an outgoing shipping request under the request menu, shipping outgoing. Like the incoming request, there's a special form. What kind of items does the customer want shipped? They'll fill that out. Who's the carrier? When's the pickup date? How many boxes? Is there a tracking number? Etc. Once this form is filled out by the client, it will show up on the request list as a shipping outgoing request. I've created one. It shows up here. And so now the site operating team knows that they've got a box to ship on behalf of a customer. Now, once this outgoing request has been submitted, like the incoming request, it will also show up on the site operators reports page under shipping outgoing list. Here that request is. Here's the request ID and the basic information, and there's just one icon, and that's for the site operator to indicate when the package has been picked up by the carrier. So clicking this icon, you can fill out the number of boxes, the tracking number, the pickup date, any pickup note if needed, and save. Now, there was only one box that was asked to be shipped, and that one box was just handed to the carrier. So, do you want to send email updates and notify the requester that it's been picked up? I'll say yes. And that closes the shipping outgoing request. Before concluding this demonstration, let me show you the shipping outgoing log showing historical shipping events and the shipping incoming log. Since we're on the outgoing list page, you'll notice this button here, shipping outgoing log. When that is clicked, it gives a history of all the outgoing shipments, the dates, the times, the request IDs, the carriers. This is used for audit purposes and compliance purposes to record all the events and be able to look back and report on them. Likewise, on the reports shipping incoming list, which we looked at earlier, there is also a shipping incoming log. When that log button is clicked, you now see a complete history of all the shipping events, who handled them, where they were stored, who they were handed off to, etc. This again is useful for compliance audits and basic, proper ITIL handling of operation events at a site. Now I can conclude this demonstration. Thank you for watching and have a great day.